I just got into the Fate franchise because I wanted to finally see my boy Gilgamesh in action. And listen, I've liked Gilgamesh since before I even watched Fate, but I didn't think another character would ever make their way into my top favorite characters list until I met Saber. Why? I don't know, my boy. I guess I'm just a simple person. I'm a simple person. I see Saber, I like.
Nice save, dude.
Come on, yo, cut me some slack. How can you hate a face like that? Slack? Did that rhyme? Can I please? This is why I can't script. But speaking of can't script videos, yo, she is too adorable, my guy. If I was in a Grail war, I could not take her for real at all. Look at her, bruh. It's comedy gold when she tries to be serious. She's like a pouting little baby or something. I don't even know. Saber, forget your old master. Make a pact with me and I'll treat you right, you know? Can I please get back on script? This is a Saber slander video, not a Saber appreciation video. From watching Fate Zero and Unlimited spam works, I can confirm that this franchise pulls absolutely no punches and almost nobody is safe. I personally think that Fate Zero is better than Unlimited Blade Works for the simple fact that the stakes are much higher. In Unlimited Blade Works, we have very clear main characters, Shiro Emiya and Rin Tosaka. Drawing up main characters usually means that you're placing characters into a story that won't be touched by the ending. On the other hand, in Fate Zero, we don't really have a main protagonist. Sure, the story begins with Kiritsugu Emiya, but every episode focuses on somebody completely different, and there's even episodes where our supposed main character doesn't even show up. Now, having no main character is great for two reasons. Number one, like I said before, the stakes are higher. You can get attached to any character you want and root for anybody you want, because there's no character thrown into the viewer's face that we're supposed to like or agree with. The second reason this is good is because now the author is able to delve deeper into the personalities of every and any character they want to. Because of that type of freedom, Fate Zero, as opposed to Unlimited Blade Works, is just simply a much more tragic series. It's a war, and most characters in Fate Zero recognize that war means you can do anything, from blowing up buildings, to treachery, to senseless slaughter of innocent people. Everybody in this war has a goal that they want to reach, but most all of them will do whatever it takes to win, even if that means giving up the moral high ground. And to me, that is genius. One episode you may be rooting for Kiritsugu to win it all, and then the next episode you may be rooting for Artoria to win it all. The lack of main character and lack of morals make Fate Zero just a much greater series, in my opinion. But hold on, slow down. Most characters in this series are tragic in one way or another. But watching through Fate Zero and Unlimited Blade Works, I don't know if there are many other characters with a life as tragic as the King of Knights, King Arthur. Artoria Pendragon. She's also known as like Altria, I think. The sub I watched called her Artoria, alright? Better known across the anime community simply as Saber, the poster girl and face of the Fate franchise. If you're interested in knowing more about her past, then get into Fate for yourself, alright? Long story short, Saber is almost slain on the battlefield, and in her dying moments, she cries out for an opportunity to change things. Her call is answered, and she's summoned to participate in a battle for the Holy Grail. In the story of Fate Zero, Saber is summoned by a man named Kiritsugu Emiya. Most of the servant-master relationships in Fate Zero are built on subjectively mutual respect. Caster and his master are equally murderous scum. Ryder is a large, bold, respectable guy who helps his small, timid, but still respectable master gain some courage. And Assassin is just as sneaky and deadly as their master is. Some connection can be made for any single one of these wars participating duos, but what about Kiritsugu and Saber? Kiritsugu has a good heart, but his methods are cold, calculated, ruthless, and could even sometimes be seen as evil. Likewise, Saber also has a good heart, but she follows a knight's code of honor and chivalry. She would never be able to support underhanded tactics that discredit her opponent as a warrior. Let's take an example from the anime itself. If there were two boats in trouble, one with 300 people and one with 200 people, Kiritsugu wouldn't hesitate to abandon the 200 in order to save the majority, being the 300. Saber, on the other hand, would probably try to save both boats together. Both Saber and Kiritsugu have good hearts and would try to save people with their good intentions, but their conflicting views on how to go about things would cause them to be unable to see eye to eye.
お前と出会えてよかった。いざ
In Fate Zero, Saber battles the Lancer class servant pretty early on in the series, and they develop a mutual respect for each other as knights and warriors. In the battle, Saber suffers an injury that causes her to lose access to her left hand. It's a pretty big handicap for a swordswoman like her, but she sees the wound as an honor rather than a burden. She wishes to continue her honorable battle with Lancer, but multiple times throughout the series, their fight is cut short, and at one point in the series, Lancer chooses to make a sacrifice that ends up healing Saber's hand at the expense of potentially discrediting their battle. However, out of respect for their duel, Saber decides to still not use her left hand anyways when they finally face off for the last time. Now we need to remember who Saber's partner in this war is. Being contracted as a servant to Kiritsugu, Saber has sworn her loyalty to him. However, because of their differing morals, Kiritsugu's actions often take a heavy mental and emotional toll on Saber and constantly brickwall her in her attempts to become a better person. Saber, in battle with Lancer, had hoped to redeem her prestige that she felt she had lost. Kiritsugu cuts her attempt short by forcing Lancer's master to use his command seals and have Lancer kill himself. But Kiritsugu didn't stop there. He also had Lancer's master and wife killed shortly afterwards, having tricked them into signing a contract. In Lancer's final moments, he cursed everybody around him, including Saber. That fight, which abruptly ended in the most dishonorable way possible, was Saber's final chance to redeem herself as an honorable combatant. A heavily anticipated fight by the viewers and Saber alike was ended quickly by shameful means. Kiritsugu, in the pursuit of victory, trampled on Saber's ideology as a king and disgraced her as a knight, sending her deeper into darkness. Now this one's a little more complex, so I do suggest you go watch this scene for yourself and watch the entirety of Fate Zero so you can understand it better. The King of Knights, the King of Conquerors, and the King of Heroes all gathered for a meeting amongst rulers. They partook in idle chit-chat, drinking, and all that other good stuff. It was a chill gathering of kings to kick back and share some drinks with each other. What could possibly have contributed to the shattering of Saber's fragile mentality here? When Alexander the Great asks Saber what it means to be a king, he's unsatisfied with Saber's response and shuts it down immediately. Saber believed that trying to be good will lead to good things, but that same way of thinking is what led to Britain falling under her reign. She became critical of all of her decisions and mistakes, but her regret also made it harder for her to make decisions moving forward. Alexander the Great didn't agree with her way of thinking and muttered the famous "What a King Should Be" speech, where he revealed that a king should have no regrets and should be so inspiring and vibrant that their subjects have no choice but to feed off of their energy. Saber was a ruler who tried to satisfy the people. She saved her kingdom, but she never led them, and that's what caused her kingdom's downfall. Iskandar ends his speech by stating that he no longer sees Saber as a king, but just a little girl who doesn't have the right to stand on the same level as he or Gilgamesh. From that point forward, Alexander the Great wouldn't see Saber as a king anymore. His words were brutally honest, and while he wasn't 100% correct, none of the kings present there were. Saber was left visibly shaken after the banquet ended. Her ability to lead a kingdom was challenged by someone of equal stature, and she had nothing she could do or say to prove him otherwise. Now, I can't tell if Gilgamesh was being serious or if he was just teasing her, but he told Saber that Iskandar was wrong and she should do whatever she wants to do. But the dude was borderline in love with her at this point, and he's just a real complex character himself, so take what he says with a grain of salt. Saber's honor as a knight was stripped away from her in her last chance to get it back. Her ability to lead was discredited at a meeting of kings. Everything she strove to protect was crumbling right in front of her. In pursuit of the wish-granting chalice, Saber encountered an enemy servant of the Berserker class. She had no appreciation for Berserker's wild way of fighting. He doesn't fight with poise or honor, but rather like a barbarian with no respect for their opponent. Saber wonders who this servant must have served under in their time period to end up as such a shameless beast. Later in their fight, Berserker is unmasked and revealed to be Sir Lancelot. For backstory, Sir Lancelot is one of the Knights of the Round Table, a group of knights who served directly under King Arthur. So Saber. It doesn't take long for Saber to realize that the leader of this dishonorable beast was none other than herself. Another example of her failure to lead her people. This revelation was one of the most devastating for her and just piles onto the list of things weighing her down. Now we as viewers know that Lancelot's berserk behavior wasn't the fault of Saber's, but she had no way to know that. Saber in her time lost everything. In her only shot at redemption, she lost almost everything again. Her only chance of changing her past now was the Holy Grail. With her only trustworthy companions, Maya and Irisville, I probably butchered that, both gone, Saber no longer had any allies. She was just a mentally drained and broken girl on all... Dang, can I say that properly? She was just a mentally drained and broken girl all on her own now. God dang. I'll give credit where credit is due. Saber did end up finding where the Grail was at by herself, and she also managed to fend off one of the most brain-dead overpowered servants, Gilgamesh, long enough for her master Kiritsugu to win his own battle with Gilgamesh's master and regroup with her. Now here's where things get even more tragic. It was Saber and her master against Gilgamesh, the last combatants in this war. The odds were looking great, until out of the blue, Kiritsugu used his command seals to order Saber to not defeat Gilgamesh, but to destroy the Holy Grail. Saber, with tears in her eyes, has no choice but to destroy the Grail, her last chance at redemption. Come the end of Phase Zero, and Saber had lost everything. Once again, she failed as a king, not once, but twice, and destiny had forsaken her. Now, Kiritsugu may have been a thorn in her side the entire series, but this last-minute decision to destroy the Grail was actually in good character. Kiritsugu had gotten to experience the Grail and learned that it was evil and corrupt. So when trying to save anybody else from having to deal with the Grail in the future, he had Saber destroy it. But Saber, poor sweet Saber, had no idea that the Grail was corrupt. From her perspective, she was simply betrayed by Kiritsugu once again. As far as she knew, the Grail was her only way out, and she was forced to destroy it herself and be sent back to her own time period to reminisce on how she not only failed her people once, but twice. So I feel for King Artoria. She's a poor soul who lived her life with nothing but regrets. An innocent girl placed into the position of king and forced to watch her kingdom fall under her reign with nothing she could do to stop it, even when given multiple opportunities. Saber's tragedy is one that's real sad when you look at it that way. In her first life, every mistake she made led to the downfall of Britain. Once gifted with another life to fix it, every step she took to change was thrown off by something she had no control over. The Holy Grail truly must be evil because it forced Saber into a second life where she had zero chance of victory. But for some more spoilers, in Unlimited Blade Works, Saber once again fails to win the Grail. And not only that, but she has to destroy the Grail. Again. Now in Fate Stay Night, the Saber route, she freaking dies. She's trying so hard for her people. Why can't she just get what she deserves? So in the end, I guess Saber never got the happy ending she was looking for, but her failure to save her kingdom is what immortalized her as a legendary hero. I haven't watched Heaven's Feel yet, any of the movies, but let me guess, Saber destroys the Grail and or dies. Oh, big surprise. Screw off. Artoria is persistent, maybe someday she'll make her return and succeed, but for now, let us lay our tragic hero to rest and move on to our next point. Why Gilgamesh is so cool. I mean, yo, come on people, look at this dude's suit of armor that he wears. He is so dope, and don't even get me started on Gate of Babylon. Say what you want, Babylon. I'm seeking Babylon, so I battle on.